Well, I was thinking coming in, I've been 4 stops, Baltimore, Toronto, Seattle, and Philadelphia, and I think these are the most knowledgeable and supportive fans that I've been to the 4 cities. You guys always support me. A little bit this evening. I've known Roy for over 20 years. He was the #1 draft pick by Toronto. I was not the GM at the time. I was scouting for them in 1995 when I first saw him. So, he's legendary. His preparation, his game preparation, is legendary, throughout the industry. And it's quite an honor to be going in. And the other thing, there's only one other executive on the Wall of Fame in Philadelphia. And I knew him for a long time, and he kind of got me started. The Pope, Paul Owens. It's great to be on the wall with Paul.
I never had to pitch in the 8th inning. That's almost impossible for a save opportunity. It's true. That's almost impossible to do. And the only reason I didn't have to do that is because of how good these guys were leading up to me. So when we talk about that season, when I talk about the season, and I'm like, give credit to the teammates. It really has to be said. These guys were so good ahead of me doing their job. Clay coming in, so I didn't have to hardly ever pitch in 4-run leads. Clay would come in and finish the game on those, and he never gave up any runs in those games. So I never had to come in and get myself started, in those games. So every one of these guys, but Scott and Clay and everybody else did such a good job. That's why I was able to have that season. I mean, it wouldn't have happened without those guys. That's for sure.
No question.
Well, the thing was, we had, as the years, these guys weren't here from the beginning, but, through the forward years, and you have to give so much credit to the scouting department. All of a sudden, it was Brett Myers, and there was Jay Sutley, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard. These just started coming together, and now it was just a matter of reining everything in, which was easy. I mean, we had pieces come along like Vic and these guys, and everybody had the common goal, and that's what it's all about. We all want to win. I think a bunch of us have been other places, and very few teams are successful consistently, and so there was a bunch of hungry guys that wanted to win.
Well, one of the guys who've been in another place, and a star, and that's Jeff Jenkins, who was a star in Milwaukee, who came here and right away made an impression. At times, as good as it was in Milwaukee, what did it feel like to come here and play in front of these fans?
Oh man, Philly's great. We know Philly's a tough town. You got to go out and play well every day. But man, the fans here were amazing. Of course, our team went out and basically felt like we won every night. But it was fun going out there grinding with these guys. That was the first time that I was in a platoon situation with Jason Worth, who was an amazing player. Just was incredible for this team. But such a fun time to be a part of the organization. At the perfect year for me, I played 10 years in Milwaukee. So coming over, knowing a few of the guys, but really getting into spring training, getting into the season, it was an amazing team, and we went all the way and won the whole thing.
Same for you, Eric. You got over here and you were called on when they needed you most. Filled in your back a little bit in the outfield, filled in other places. It really does take a jack of all trades or two of those guys on the roster to win, doesn't it?
Yeah, thanks Pat for being really slow.
The door might be some replacement. You got the right year.
That year was real special for me just because I was able to have somewhat of a role on the team. That was, I was just struggling from year to year how to be able to fit in with this group of guys and just kind of how things happened. That I was able to be a part of the team. That was really special. Just an amazing group of guys, especially the really slow.
And you also found a way to come into a game and find home plate at the most opportune times of the World Series. What did that feel like to score those runs?
Well, it's amazing. It's the right place at the right time, right? Mm-hmm. Someone needed to fill that role. I was here to do it, and lucky for me, I was the one who was there. I was able to run a little bit, and it just all worked out.
Yeah. Shane, I think that most people look at you as the Rule 5 pick from heaven. You came here. But a lot of people might not know that decided they didn't want to be on the roster, and you passed through all the other major league teams, and then you had a conversation with Ruben Morrow. What was that like?
It was a tough one, obviously. You know, a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment. You know, coming into spring training with an opportunity to basically be on the team. I mean, it was my opportunity to lose, and unfortunately I lost it. But, you know, sitting with Ruben in that room, and I remember him distinctively looking me in the eyes and saying, you know, hey, we want you here. Unfortunately, numbers aren't working. And, you know, I left the room and I said to myself, you know what, they gave me an opportunity to come here to actually be on the team. Unfortunately, the opportunity didn't happen. And so I focused on the fact that, you know what, I'm going to stay within the organization. I'm going to get AAA. Yeah, the rest is history.
Now, what was that delay like? And then you come up with the big hit. Was it tough to take that extra day off? That just doesn't happen in a World Series.
It was a nightmare. Honest to God, it was a nightmare. That game got called in the 7th, and it should have been called way earlier, but if they would have done that, then we would have won.
Right.
Tough way to end the thing, so they had to let it happen, which I thought was, well, anyways. And they said, you know, tomorrow's weather's going to be worse. And this is a testament to the group that we had. So the next day we had this optional workout, which, you know, it gave 1 to 2:09 or whatever it was. They think guys are going to need best and this and that. So, as it turns out, I get to the ballpark with Chase and I hear someone in the cage, and it's Lidge throwing a bullpen by himself, getting ready for the next day. And so, I don't know how many guys we had on our roster at the time, but everybody came to this workout and we just worked on our own stuff. And it was impressive, and I had the unfortunate, I was with Tampa the next year, and I found out they had an optional workout too, and nobody came. So just goes to show you, we were ready. And that's one of the things I remember is, well, plus, all of our families, we were the home team, so all of our families are here with us, staying with us, and we had to get out of the house.
It was a whirlwind. I mean, Charlie kind of held his cards close to the vest and didn't tell us who was going to be the hitter, probably for a lot of reasons, in case he changed the pitcher, or, you know, we were all taking a ton of swings anyway, but having 2 days off, I mean, there wasn't a lot of sleep between me, dogs, and stairs, because one of us was going to be the pinch hitter. So I think Charlie did a good job waiting to tell us, basically 10, 15 minutes before the game, and I just remember him telling me, and I rushed
But also depended on who was pitching, because they could have made a change too.
Correct, yeah, exactly. But Baltimore still in the game, the right-hander, and you know, I thought it was a good matchup for me, just a fastball guy, and a guy that, you know, I thought I'd do well against, but I was on deck, and I remember my heart was just racing, like, you know, and I see all the fans, like, shaking with like pom-pom. I was like, oh my God, this is happening, like, I gotta do good right now. But Jimmy Rollins comes on deck. We all know Jimmy, he's got ice in his veins, nothing ever bothers the guy, right? And he just looks at me and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, hey man, just go back to Little League right now. And something came about me, like, just I was really calm, and you know, I go out and get the hit, and Jimmy bunts me over, Worthy gets a single to center, and, you know, we take the lead at that point, but it was a great moment for me in my career.
For sure.
On the verge of retiring, and yeah, believe it or not,
And then we those guys something about
that was 2006, but when I got traded here, it was like a shot in the arm. I came to a youthful organization, and an organization that was going forward, and an organization also that had developed a lot of players from within, and had come up through the system, and there were still prospects in the minor leagues. And to come here, and obviously in 2006, we fell a little bit short, but to see the potential, and obviously in 07, you know, we played better, and obviously 08, that's why we're all here this weekend, and 09, but it really kind of pushed me and drove me to continue to play, and I'm glad it did.
Like I said, we ran into the Rockies, who were just a team on fire, and I think we got to understand what it was going to be like in the playoffs. We got to understand, okay, that it's the same game, you know, that you played all summer and all year, and you're just one of however many teams that are left. So we definitely took that and looked at it as there's unfinished business, and wanted to go right the ship the next year.
Pedro O'Ryan talked about Jimmy's bold prediction. He was bold before it was in fashion, wasn't he?
He's born bold. Yes, he was very bold.
But he came out and he said, we're the team to beat. Then he got in. The next year, I think it was Beltran that said, we're the team to beat, not the Mets. And Jimmy answered by saying, we're the team that's going to win 100 games. So, how much did Jimmy's, all you guys, how much did Jimmy's proclamations, maybe they put a target on you, but at the same time, it builds you up too?
Well, I think what Jimmy said is, I think what we all believed in our minds and our hearts, right? Coming over for me in 2007, to hear Jimmy make that statement, I'm just getting to know all these guys. We had that feeling though. We did. We believed in each other. We believed in ourselves. And I think you have to embrace that and be willing to step up and display some leadership and call not only yourself out but everybody else out. Like, hey, let's go do this. Let's go make this happen. Why can't we be the team to be? Let's be the team to be. Let's make that proclamation, and now let's back it up with how we play on the field. And that's exactly what we did. So I think we embraced that target. Although someone's kind of looking around like, man, Jimmy, that's kind of strong. I mean, I think we believe what we all believe. We came out and said it. Yeah. Wow. I mean, okay, we got to roll with it, and that's what we did. We rolled with it.
Milt, this was a team, everybody wanted the big moment. Nobody wanted to shy away from it. Is that correct?
That's correct. Rhino touched on it. In 2007, we ran into a buzzsaw. But after that series, these guys knew that they were a championship caliber team, and they knew that they belonged. And so the bold statements by Jimmy, they knew it. They just didn't, we're going to go out and show you, but Jimmy just let them know we're going to do it. We're not going to just shock y'all. We're just going to come out here and do it. So that's the way it was. These guys were, tremendous to work with. I mean, they were stars. Chase, all those guys. They had a work ethic, and they just went out and no game was over until it was over. We always felt like we could win the game. And that's the whole key, until that last out is made and the game is over, you got to continue to fight, and that's what these guys did.
Right?
I think we all elevated each other's game. I think we made each other better. Dopper coming in, having big hits. I think it made guys want to be able to go out there, like you said, wanting to be in that situation. It's like Charlie always said, you got to want to hit. And I think everybody always wanted to hit, especially when you drop it's hitting season. It's hitting season. Watch out. So that was the thing for us. It was every day was hitting season for us. So it was like everybody was going out. Oh, Chase Brown got 2 hits. I got to go out and get 2 hits. Try to elevate each other and build up, and pick up our bullpen and pick up our pitchers as they had a tough day, which they didn't really have too many. But we just all kind of came together and just elevated each other's game.
We talked about everybody. I'm sorry, Dowsey. I was just going to say, everybody wanted that big moment. I was going to ask Pedro, boy, you had it.
You had a big moment.
5B, huh? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, that was a great time. That moment, I think I still dreaming with that hit, and every time I go to bed, I think about it. It's something that I'm never gonna forget. I would say that almost 20-year professional baseball. I think that's been the biggest hit. So I'm never gonna forget that. It was,
No, not at all. Usually when I go to spring training, I'd be kind of uptight because I wanted things to be smooth and get our work in and be in good shape and be prepared to play the season. And that year, and it seemed like in 2008, my speech was very short and quick, and because I could tell that our players was all ready to go. They were very disappointed in 07 when we got eliminated, and that was really kind of a tough time. It was kind of, our players were mad, they were upset. And we came back in 2008 and they were determined that we was going to go farther, and we did.
Chuck, one of the great things about you as a manager was the way you were able to relate to your players. It seemed like you had a nickname for every guy in that clubhouse. You go by J.C. Romero, I know, and you say, hey, Romeo, how you doing? That was special.
Very special. I got all big names for all minor league players too. In the Gulf Coast League nowadays, Clearwater State. Really, I have a nickname for everybody. I named Howard the Big Piece. But the moment ice you know, when the other day when I was seeing Dr. Vinny on our team, and Lidge was kind of talking, and he said that when he gripped the ball, he said, and he's hitting, and he says that he could grip the ball, and all of a sudden he knew he was going to throw his best slider he ever threw. I say that's the best slider I ever seen because he struck it out and the game was over.
Sacrifices and the dedication it took from the people on this stage to bring this trophy home to Philadelphia in front of the best baseball fans in America. Thank you, Phillies fans. Let's have one more hand for these guys up here.
Became Brad's nickname. Brad was great in terms of saves to chances, 48 out of 48. He's like a poet, right?